Um, with the aggression and Hitler ignoring the treaty, the Nazi army actually invaded Poland in 1939. And again, the US is not involved in World War II. We are still going through that Great Depression and had no idea what was really going on over there because we were dealing with our own issues. So this was the last straw for the Allies. Now, if you think back, the Allies were the ones that were also fighting back in World War One. So it's where they've created their teams, and we've got Central Powers and Allies in World War One, and now the Allies are just finally ticked off again. Here is a picture of Hitler observing his troops on the march to Poland. Remember, Hitler used to be a soldier himself for the German army back in World War I, so he knew exactly what needed to be done on the war front. And now, as a general and a leader and dictator, he's watching his own troops march in. Now, during this time, Japan is also dealing with a lot. Feeling of nationalisms and militarism also swept through Japan. Okay, that means like loyalty to their nation and their military. And so there was an emperor, and he was the ruler of Japan during this time, and the military of Japan had a lot of power in his government. If you know anything about the Japanese, they are very loyal to their country, but they're also very loyal to their leader and their military. And so Japan built up an army, a navy, and an air force and invaded China. So on the other side of the country, they're also invading each other in the 30s. So here's a map that I put, here we are over here in America, Japan's countries over here. We're dealing with our own issue. Germany's invading over here, and now we've got Japan, another country, invading another country in China. This is the emperor during the army inspection, getting ready for the invasion in 1938. Aggression continues. Over the next few years, Japan conquered all of eastern China, so not the entire country, but the eastern part. And in January of 1942, the Japanese captured the capital of the Philippines. Now, the Philippines was a very poor country, and so Japan knew this, and they went in and took over that area. A month later, the Japanese captured Singapore, another country, and Japan eventually conquered the East Indies, the Philippines, and other Pacific islands. So Japan was kind of, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this, just conquering countries left and right. Again, the US is not involved yet. Now, major events happening in Europe and in the Pacific. So back over to Germany and all the invasions they're doing. The US is staying neutral. World War II broke out in 1939. Well, hello, we're still in the Great Depression. FDR just got into office. He's trying to put out the fire in the US, and now there's fires sparking all over the country. So they stayed neutral, which meant that they wouldn't help either side. They were not going to pick a side. This time it was Allied powers versus Axis instead of Central powers. And many people in the US believed that the war was Europe's problem and not America's because they didn't have money. So if they felt that they were far enough away and they would be safe from the war and nothing would really happen. Little did we know, Pearl Harbor is a little place in Hawaii, and it is owned by the US. And on December of 1941, right as soon as we got done with the Great Depression, Japan decided to come over and surprise attack our naval base located in Hawaii. With this attack, more than 2,400 people were killed, and many US battleships and airplanes were completely destroyed. Japan had the idea that if they could take some of our major battleships and airplanes, then we really would be weak, knowing that our economy had completely crashed. Of course, with that being said, that ticked us off. And of course, FDR was not going to sit around and let this happen. Here's a picture of some of the battleships going down in Pearl Harbor. There's actually a great museum now in Hawaii that you can visit. Very interesting. So I'm actually going to stop notes for today. There are more slides if you would like to read on and go ahead. But as far as notes go, this is where I want to stop. You do not have to fill out any more notes past the attack on Pearl Harbor, and we will finish this another day.